We are back with another holiday special. Some of you might remember this music from last year. I'm going to show that NFT in a second. That is one of my all-time favorite NFTs of all time. Christmas 2021, minted on hand. But here we have Strange Thing, and let me actually turn down the music here. As glorious as it is, and what a year it has been. Actually, let's bring the music back a little bit. What a year it has been. I guess, it's hard to put into words. I guess this year, for me personally, has just been all about showing up, as it kind of is every year. But maybe the people that watch this show made showing up a heck of a lot easier, because as anybody out there that's, really tried to start a new project, especially kind of a media-like project, it can be a very difficult, humbling experience. I've done it many times, and it's actually never caught on, so it's nice to actually have an audience. And so, in the spirit of the holiday season, let me extend my good wishes to one and all in this beautiful scene, these beautiful people. And with that, a big season's greetings from me and my mom and the whole family, and shout out to Mom watching here. I'm a huge fan of Christmas, as I mentioned last Christmas episode, last holiday special. Because Mom, of course, and my grandma, Nana, made a huge deal of Christmas, and it was always just a ton of fun. The older you get, every Christmas turns different, as I think many of you can identify with that. But the first 15 years were just pretty constant, first 20 years, really. So all to say, we are back with another holiday special. And we'll take a look at that NFT in a second. I'll just turn down the volume and let it keep playing here. So welcome back, and probably a lot of you recognize this artist here. It's going to be a little different from last year, the holiday special, because last year, and of course this is a strange thing, last year I had never done a holiday special before, so it was easy for me to go through the history of, works on Tezos. I think I did almost exclusively. I haven't watched that whole episode yet. Or mostly works on Tezos, so I could go through Object and just kind of mine from the whole history, a couple of years of Christmas episodes. And so this one, there are a lot of Christmas works, but it's kind of a different kind of show. I'm going to sprinkle it across the show here. So it'll still be a holiday special, but still with, things that have happened in the last couple of days here. I'm going to show you also the holiday special itself. Not the whole thing, but just the video. So if you do just want if you haven't seen that, and you just want a pure holiday special, I'll show you where to go and to find that video for an earlier version of this show, hilariously. So here's Strange Thing, and I don't really have too much to say other than another stunning, beautiful, slam dunk. That's what I want to call this, from Strange Thing. This is another slam dunk. It captures, that's when I saw it maybe 3 or 4 days ago when it came out, maybe longer. I knew immediately this was the cover to the Christmas special here. It's just another, what I'd call AI masterpiece. And it captures all of the grandeur of of the holiday season, the Coca-Cola Santa Claus, but new, and also done with, as you see here, and maybe I can zoom in. I don't know how, I assume this is just the AI algorithm that is just making this work, right? But I mean, this looks like, when you look at this, it feels like a Caravaggio, shall we say, the chiaroscuro, kind of the light and the dark, the shadows. It's got definitely a hint of Caravaggio here, even in the color. And that's another important aspect of Strange Thing's work is the color. The color is very, how would you say, somehow, let's put it this way. I don't know how Strange Thing does it, but somehow Strange Thing is programming the color. because it has a consistent quality of these extraordinarily rich oil paintings, almost Flemish, but this one has a bit of an Italian feel, meeting Flemish. And of course, interesting device here with the window, kind of reminiscent really of Vermeer and maybe Caravaggio, right? Where you put the source of light on one side and then the light and the shadow comes across here, across the head here. It does have a real, in the way that this head is painted for whatever reason, maybe it's the color scheme, maybe it's the, impression of the painting itself. It does have a Caravaggio feel, doesn't it? But a lot warmer than your typical Caravaggio in the sense of the subject matter and even this perfect, what would you call this? And in Canada, we call it a toque. I don't know what the rest of the world, Santa hat, and when you use the word toque in Berlin, nobody knows what you're talking about. They call it a beanie, the hat that keeps you warm, or like the little covering that keeps you warm, the knit hat. So I'll just say here is what I want to call strange thing, masked, as usual, anonymous, putting together presents here. A kind of Santa's workshop of a sort, or maybe strange thing working at home. It feels like a perfect painting, a perfect Christmas painting. Just another stunner here, even all the way down to the texture in the Coca-Cola here. And you can see this is AI in the, there's slight, just like what I'd be tempted to call AI distortions here. It's wonderfully done. It has the texture and the appreciation that comes with a real painting, but it's AI, and it's AI flavored. Once again, as Lorna Mills says, AI art is legit, and it's works like this that really seal the deal for me, because again, we see these kind of, almost this aura, that comes around some of these works, what I like to call the AI distortion. Even look at the hands, like where's the nail? And the tweezers or whatever this is blends into the hand a little bit. It's still like unmistakably AI, yet it has all of the delight of, frankly, a Renaissance painting. Here again, you see it's like, okay, that is definitely AI, but it's so well done. It's so carefully done. Look at the, the back of the window here. It's so carefully done. It's with such care and with such preciousness that this is where it really is art, as Lorna Mills says. So how long have I been on this image here? 8 minutes. Okay, it is time to move on. So just the tweet, strange thing, late GM, this weather got me hibernating. Yeah, like what a stunner. How many, in a sense, only 15 retweets here. That is unbelievable. 1,600 views. This is I can't think of a, more wonderful Christmas artwork that's come out this year. At least from this perspective over here. So this is where the music came from, and this is how I actually started last holiday episode. Let me turn it back up. Right? So that's from this, Christmas 2021. If anybody's looking for this wonderful NFT, and I know Christmas, as I said last Christmas episode, it's not everybody's jam. But for those that it is, here is just a total delight of a work. Edition of 100, only 3 Tezos. Yeah. Eat your heart out, MoMA. Eat your heart out. Just awesome. So that, of course, a Hic et Nunc classic there. Who is the artist? We have to look at the artist. And we have a major correction here. It is not Cartoon, it is Cartouche. Just an anonymous creator here. Maybe we can quickly, just no name. Amazingly not followed. There we go. Fixed. That was the last NFT they did. Ivan, Christmas 2021. Incredible. So, huge correction on last show. Maybe not huge. I was talking about how when you have the pharaoh, the royal name, when it's in the circle here, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. When it's in the circle, it refers to a royal name or a pharaoh, usually the pharaoh. That is a cartouche. I think I was calling it a Khartoum, which I think is a city, if I'm not mistaken, in ancient Egypt. So here it is in Egyptian hieroglyphs. A cartouche is an oval with a line at one end, tangent to it, indicating the text enclosed is a royal name. The first example of the cartouche are associated with pharaohs at the end of the 3rd dynasty, and those are actually, but the feature did not come into common use until the beginning of the 4th dynasty under the pharaoh Sneferu. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, Sneferu was that the first pharaoh to build there was a prototype pyramid, but I think Sneferu might have been the first major pyramid. Shall we look really quickly? Again, I'm going to show you the course in a second. Let me just do a quick search on pyramid here. Okay. He managed to build 3 pyramids in his long rule. Okay, so this looks like an early pyramid. Sneferu, okay, so this is a proto-pyramid. I thought actually it was the 3rd dynasty. So the 4th dynasty. So as you see, this is fascinating. So there, again, birth and throne cartouches of Pharaoh Seti I and KV, Valley of the Kings 17. Whatever that means. So very interesting. So here again are hieroglyphs that we were discussing yesterday. There's one thing to discuss something. There's another to see it up close and personal like this. And as we were saying, as far as I understand, this is, as we were saying, you don't say, oh, this doesn't mean I, this means a sound, and you read it like you would letters. And so see last episode for a more in-depth discussion on that, and I hope to return to that. And so that is a cartouche, just to give you to do a correction on that. Continuing on, this is the show, and since some of you will have some extra time, and it is the holiday special, this is the show of which I speak, Ancient Egypt, the history of ancient Egypt. And you know what? Bob Breyer, and this is awesome. I'll give you one kind of warning. It is a lower, like it was made for 1980s TVs, like back before HD, and like it was kind of like, I don't know, maybe not quite a 4x5, but it was like a classic, 1980s TV. So it's pretty low resolution, but it's not too low. And here is probably you can get a free 30-day free trial at Wondrium, and you can probably actually, let's just check here. Find your favorite program. Let's just put Ancient Egypt. For those that are interested, because I imagine some people are, here it is. So if you go to Wondrium by the Great Courses, this is the new incarnation of the Great Courses, History of Ancient Egypt, and you could probably get a free trial here. You see this? 48-part lecture series here. And the rise of the Old Kingdom, Sneferu, the pyramid builder, and the Great Pyramids of Giza. Like, if you ever wanted to know, what's fascinating is these 3 main pyramids were were made like very early on. Like, I think it's the 4th dynasty, if I'm not mistaken. And so that is incredible when you think about that. Because they never really made a pyramid like that again. As you see here, 48-part lecture series, half an hour each. By the time you're done watching this, like, you have a clue, right? And that's kind of all that we could hope for. Let me just click on free trial and just see what's going on here. So you could get a 14-day free trial. So if you're looking for something to do over the holiday season, maybe that's 3 episodes a day, hour and a half a day of Ancient Egypt, if you take 2 weeks off, and there you have it. You can watch your Ancient Egypt lecture for free. That's Wondrium.com. I think they do actually sponsorships. I should do Wondrium sponsorships if that's possible. All to say, let's keep moving here. Don't want to meander too much here. It is the holiday season. We all have a lot to do. This is kind of my last little bit of work till after Christmas, so I'm pretty thrilled about that. Thank you, everybody who collected this. So you might, some of you might have seen, I put this as a 1 of 1 at first at 150 Tezos. And so what was interesting about this, and this comes from the Promoted Stories series, I pulled an RJ. I saw RJ do this before, which is when a 1 of 1 doesn't sell right away, break it up into editions, and then you can sell it for basically the same amount of money. As you see, 20 editions at $750, And then it's just more, it's maybe more friendly for the, typical Tezos consumer. It's less of a risk, you don't need to spend $150. And we're coming to that in a second here, the price of Tezos. It's $750. Maybe you just like the work and you're not too worried about it. There you go, $750. So thank you to everybody who picked them up. And as you see here, like I could have sat on that 150 Tezos one of one for months, potentially, right? Or you break it into an edition and there you have it. So props to RJ, who I saw do that first. And thank you everybody here who collected this work. Haiti Rocket, Cap'n, Kyle Flemmer, Native Ed, Armilk, Sabato, Waylu, everybody, Ahak, Hologram, VLD, Daedalus, Serenifish, everybody. So interesting, isn't it? Continuing on, let's go to comments here, if we can, on last episode. Chepkes, thanks Pocobelli for responding by showing, let me make this a little bigger, by showing and explaining these previous works. So those were the works we were looking at that I had made, spent like a year on, this sort of thing. Love the juxtaposition of imagery and symbolism. I wouldn't directly say the fastest one is the best. Well, I'm glad to hear that. But it has more to do with the narrative. It is more of a painting where the others have illustration qualities. Would be interested, yeah, exactly. Actually, yeah, it's more painterly for sure. Would be interesting to redo one of the others in a few hours. Then we would know for sure, maybe. I thought it was a great idea, Chepke. Denholm Pearson, thank you for the comment and everything. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Denholm Pearson, such a great show. Really glad to hear that. Olivia Richartig, I love your show. Well, thank you, Olivia. That is really nice to hear. And just makes my day as we move forward here into the holiday season. Retro Manny, this was funny. The post you discussed from Mal, Tez versus Saul, was interesting. So that was the post where I think the person was saying how everybody's moving to Saul and Tez is dead. That post, the first one we looked at, it was interesting in that a few people commented that it seemed like a ChatGPT generated thread. That's happened before. Usually, actually, I was the one to catch it, actually, when other people didn't, on a separate one like a year ago. But maybe I've become a sucker for the ChatGPT thread here. Not saying it is, but it might explain some of the debatable things said. Yeah, but it's sort of like AI. What I'd say to Manny is it's sort of like AI in art. It's at the end of the day, if you put it out under your name, even if you're using AI, it's basically you saying, this has my stamp of approval on it. So I wouldn't sort of let the person that posted that, off the hook, so to speak, on, oh, that's just the AI. I didn't mean to say that sort of thing. I certainly appreciate your perspective on the matter, though. Exactly, and I thought it was just a good debating point. I showed kind of both extremes of the argument there. Pro-Saul, pro-Tez is sort of what I was going for. We as artists should not forget that we make art because it's our need to. Ideally, we want to make a living from it. Yeah, I think that's brilliantly put. And as we've said kind of over and over on this show, it's a real radical, amazing thing that this scene has been, overall, we have to say this scene has been utterly fabulous to artists. I don't relate or understand to people who are leaving this scene disillusioned. Like, I'm always like, we've never had it so good. Or at least we haven't, as artists, we haven't had it this good. Geez, I would say in like at least 50. When has it ever been this good where you can put up a work online that you make on your iPad or your Photoshop and start getting money coming in? I mean, that's unbelievable. Okay. So it's pretty good. So, but as you say, but it's not like we were doing, a lot of us, we're doing this before we were making any money from it. So I think this is an important point you make, which is the money may motivate people to go to Saul, and I think that's totally cool and fine and in keeping with the tradition with as far as Leonardo the Hustler, okay? So I think that's totally fine. But to your point, if there was no funds, if there was no money around, many of us would be still doing this. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Arguing over chains is definitely silly, speaking to Kika's point. I think people just get either caught up or fed up with the X-bubble chatter of hyping one over another. Yeah, and sometimes I think people just are making hay, as they'd say, or just just trying to think of something new to talk about sometimes. Trying to generate reach. I don't know. Will the blockchain community still be a thing in 20 years? Great question. And another reason on this holiday special to be grateful for what is here. I mean, we don't know that. We sure don't know that. We could say that's a 50-50. Or will artists reorganize back into genres, mediums, or styles? Thanks for sharing my work. Always grateful. Yes, a game is the goal. Awesome. Awesome show as usual. Great comment, Manny. Thank you. And thank you, Tom Bombadil. Always great to hear from you. And Santiago Ruao and Phoebe Fashion had a really interesting comment here as well. Solana is a centralized nightmare full of degen flippers devoid of any taste. And if more artists would read up on their launch tokenomics, less of them would support it. You can book me for the kids party. Thank you. So here, Solana is a centralized nightmare. Yeah, like, I mean, it is important to, as this whole Sol hype happens, I mean, I think it passed $100 today and has kind of climbed back down. I mean, this crypto is going wild. And so are like the meme coins on it. And probably, I haven't been on the NFT side of things, like probably missing tons of gains. If you went full time as these degen flippers are, so to speak, on like, I don't know if it's Magic Eden Exchange, I don't know where they trade even. If I had more time, I'd probably spend a lot of time, probably could have made a fortune, right? So it's about the money, and I think if Solana dropped back to $16, the artists would probably just as quickly, go back, not be posting as much. So I think it just is what it is. Be multi-chain, diversify. There's nothing. It is centralized though. I think it's a fair point and worth noting. Again, I'm always kind of a DOT actually was breaking out. I was like, I'm still like have a very kind of contrarian. Nobody talks about NFTs on DOT or art on DOT. I kind of want to put some art on DOT just to be early on that. Probably shouldn't be saying this now, but that one really seems to have as I think Gavin Wood, one of the founders of that project, says, resilience. It really seems to have resilience. Just a few more comments here on last show. Thank you, Sahar. Thank you, Keys. Great show, Adrian. So many excellent works covered. Nice thoughts on Tez, Sol, etc. Yeah, ETH is just not feasible nor pleasant for many of us. That's like until they fix the fees, like it's pleasant enough until when the fees aren't a problem, but it's really unpleasant when the fees are a problem. A real treat to see your paintings and hear the stories, especially digging the threads of fate. That's really great to hear. It's great to share it with everybody. Love that you're also in Camp McKenna, referring to Terence McKenna. His video, Opening the Doors of Creativity, is brilliant, albeit perhaps a touch fanciful at points. Beautiful and inspirational stuff all around. Yeah, and that's kind of what makes Terence great. Again, I'd be tempted to call him one of the great pataphysicians in history. And the science of imaginary solutions, pataphysics. My sort of one-liner on McKenna is I consider him the most imaginative philosopher of the 20th century. And I don't think he's discussed in academia, probably because people don't, for whatever reason, maybe it's the mushrooms, maybe it's whatever. And I could be wrong. It's not like I'm reading the latest journals on philosophy. But my impression is it took a while for J.G. Ballard to get, I did my thesis on Ballard in 2004, my master's thesis, and it wasn't fashionable at the time at all to be discussing Ballard. Fast forward about 7 or 8 years, and all of a sudden there was a literature that was coming out, academic literature. So I think it's a matter of time for McKenna, but people kind of need to, there's still this kind of, I've bridged the gap in my mind between McKenna and the philosophical tradition. And again, I put him as an imaginative philosopher. That's how you value what Terence was bringing, was new ideas and fresh ideas and inspired ideas. I mean, radical ideas. Right? A radical thinker with all sorts of great ideas. So an important philosopher, and it's just like the life coaches who I consider like pragmatists. I put a lot of life coaching and, pragmatism, even Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. In my mind, that's actually a branch of American pragmatism. because what is it? It's how to live. It's practical ethics. You could argue it's like an extension of Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. I have not read the whole thing, but I've studied it, and I've read, I think, the first 2 books, and I understand the theory of it, which we can go into, the golden mean, of trying to, getting your action to be between these extremes of action. You try and go in the middle, right? I mean, it's been a very long time since we've looked at that. But anyway, thank you for the comment. Kyle Flemmer, great episode, Adrian. Thanks again. Thank you, Kyle. Great to hear. Kurt Hustle Collective, great to hear from you. And Okote, who we started the show with here. Let's see. Thank you so much for your deep dive on this last one. I'm so grateful you took the time to analyze what's going on here. Cheers, sir. Thank you, Okote. Cheers back, and happy holidays. And let us continue here. So here's the episode. If you're kind of I just came from the hairdresser, actually. It's kind of funny, and this is, of course, how the show used to be with these big kind of black gaps here. Above and below the image of the host here. And so if you're looking for a holiday special, it's just a bunch of Christmas art, episode number 104. It's a pretty fun episode. I remember Runetoon telling me, like, I had no idea how much Christmas art there was. So all to say, that's where you find that. And Merry Christmas, Tezos hits $1. So you got to love that, up 10% today. So all our collections, everything, nice bump there for us, and kind of a good sign, isn't it? That Tezos is partaking in this kind of what feels increasingly like a new bull market. Let us see. Zora introducing splits. So kind of another object feature that Zora is introducing. Create works with friends, split the rewards and revenue. They're working pretty aggressively, like a nice, lean, mean startup over there at Zora. It's very impressive. Great for photographers and models, musicians and producers. Your imagination and their imagination. Learn more. So this whole upload imagination thing, I think that's whoever's running the Zora situation over there, Zach and friends, is doing just an outstanding job. Shirley Preston. I really like Tezos, and I make fun of Solana sometimes, but I hope every artist mints wherever they feel comfortable and are able to be successful. I would never look down on an artist for minting their art where they are able to succeed, even if it is Solana. Almost, yeah, hilarious ending there. That is a pretty hilarious tweet. But exactly. Like, I mean, the art is the art. At the end of the day, if you can make, we should just be grateful we can sell our art and that people want to buy it. And if that's on Solana, then so be it. You can also sell there. And I don't, back to our topic yesterday, I don't get the sense people are leaving Tezos at all. I just get the sense that people are also including Solana into their mix. And speaking of other chains, number one lesson from ordinals, of course, the kind of the equivalent of NFTs on Bitcoin. Don't ask for permission. If Casey and Domo, so I assume the people who invented ordinals, had asked Bitcoin maxis for permission, we would never have gotten ordinals or BRC20, which are the coins on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin would still be a barren wasteland of ideological podcasters. So I thought that was actually just kind of a nice message. Don't ask for permission. Kind of an important lesson there, because now it's huge, right? And it's a thing. It's a major, you could argue it's a major part of Bitcoin. And for those that disagree, I think the largest volume of Bitcoin is coming from ordinals, not people sending money back and forth or trading, as far as I understand. I could, so it's just interesting, as far as I understand. I'm not a Bitcoin expert. Retro Manny just turned on my brand new Tez phone. Comes loaded with 160 by 144 pixels, and here it is. And that was just kind of hilarious. I thought this is, to me, like really well done idea here, where you get the old Game Boy and then the Post-it on top, written with the Tezos logo and Tez phone. I thought it was like almost a perfect kind of ad or idea, capturing of this idea, kind of making fun. Because, of course, Solana put out its own phone and everything, so here's the Tez version. Pretty hilarious. Hot Wallet by Uxine. Now, Mac actually was asking, is this a woodcut? Right, or Lino, and they're basically the same thing. Lino or woodcut here. Lino. So Lino is basically the more practical version. When I say woodcut, I basically mean Lino cut, because it's a lot easier to, if you've ever done it, I've done it, I made like 4 or 5 images, or maybe even 5 or 6. It's actually a really nice involved. You can do it at home. at least the carving. The ink is a little trickier. You got to be careful with the ink at home. But as far as making this woodcut or the lino cut, this is what kind of results you get. And you get this kind of great randomness here. And what I really loved about this work by Uxine is these little specks that actually just kind of happen naturally with the woodcut. I don't think like Uxine was trying to get those. Like those just kind of come whether you like it or not oftentimes. But what I loved about it is it really captures, I thought it captured well the movement of a GIF, right? Like those little things, it almost creates a kind of illusion. Like it doesn't, it's like an animation of movement like you'd see in a comic book, right? And, so it's still static, but you get the feeling of movement from these little flickers of ink that are done here. And of course, here is a ledger, cold wallet for holding your crypto here, and a little flame, hot wallet. Just beautiful, beautiful work by Uxine. Great to see the lino cuts in action here. Great question from Mech there too. And here we have Matias Laplata, GM. Today, new drop. Today at 7 o'clock, pre-sale of my first clothing brand. Today, only cash. International shipments seize their alarms. So Matias Laplata putting out some t-shirts here. So how cool is that? And just a really cool artist with great work on Tezos. I haven't seen much as far as NFTs recently, but they might be out there and I just might be missing them. We'll have to take a look at some point here soon. And Trueface, look at this work by Trueface. So One of One posted this work by Trueface, always surprising and always identifiable indeed. Pablo Radice with I have short conversations about the non-existence of the self with myself, from Renaissance bodies to this next evolution, not sure yet what to call it. Excited to see more works as they come. So this awesome work here by Trueface, I think Pablo Radice, and just a really awesome artist. We were looking at some of Trueface's work, gosh, too long ago. It's probably like 6 months ago it's been since we've looked at a Trueface work. So I was thrilled to see this in my feed, and I was glad to see One of One, who of course we did that great Twitter space with them. Really cool people there. I'm really glad to see them posting and liking Pablo Radice's work, and it's super interesting, because Pablo Radice, as far as I understand, makes it's his own AI algorithms. Okay, so that is pretty rad. So just cool to see here. And I thought this was kind of a funny post from Sabato. Looking forward to sending my AI-generated award-winning photographs to actual photography competitions next year. I can't wait to see what happens there. So here is the series, of course. Love stuff like this background here of these squares. AI is really good at stuff like that. Here, also very nice. And just interesting. So taking award-winning photographs and processing them, I think in Stable Diffusion. Continuing on, Zora's Christmas Memories. So again, I'm going to sprinkle Christmas works along here. We can't go through every one of these, but I brought up the page. But look how great this ad is. I think, to be frank, the ad is probably my favorite work. This is brilliantly, beautifully done here. I wonder, is this, maybe it's Ugo or maybe Stippen made this? This is gorgeous, by the way. 12 gifts, great design, and even the fonts and everything. I just love it. So a Christmas show on Zora, and here it is, Zora's Christmas Memories, and here are all the works here. And there's a show by Neutro also that's coming out here. So Frosty the Ashman, that was pretty hilarious. So we can't go through every single work here, but just a cool Zora's Christmas Memories on Zora. So that is super cool. And this is flashing pretty wildly, so I'm not going to leave it up for too long, okay? So this is a new work by Kareem Safa. Control Room is a digitally hand-drawn animation depicting the aimless choreography of unseen machinery in an imaginary command center. I love it. 384 by 216, and then magnified by 5. 48 frames, 2 colors, so all very professional description there from Kareem Safa on Super Rare. I don't think there is a bid yet. There is a reserve of 1.5 ETH or $3,500. So pretty nice piece here from Kareem. Another work here that could probably hang in the same show, Buthermord by Figments, also known as Cap'n here. So another new work here, again playing with the spheres and these great illusions. You can see half the pixels are kind of moving down and half are moving up, creating that optical illusion within the sphere, and then these great static pixels around it. So another cool, again, it's kind of like reminds me of these data machines, as does Kareem Safa's work. Maybe we can bring up one really quickly. It is the Christmas episode after all. Let's just see what we get if we put data machines into... Okay, so just data art 1920s machine. We'll just see if we get anything here. Interesting. Like even Ernst played a little bit with it. This is interesting. It was kind of a theme a little bit, these kind of speculative machines. You know, here you kind of see it early with the Kiriko, kind of proto-surrealist, right? Kind of, you know, intimating on it, and kind of, you know, I wish I could, you know, even in here, this looks like the robot from, I think, Metropolis. And so just kind of an interesting, you almost see it vaguely here, you could argue, but maybe that's a bridge too far. Here, right, you start seeing just these machines made of collage, and I find these are kind of in that same spirit and tradition. Again, if you want to look at the portrayal of machines over the centuries, you could do, you know, Kareem Safa 2023, and then these data works in 1920 and more. Let's continue here. Snowy Toy Village. So this is by Shirut. And what's interesting, this was sent to me. You know why? Because I think it was sent to everybody who had last year's work. So as you'll see here, everybody, there's just a new version. Let me just bring up, because here the last NFT that Shirut minted was this one, Snowy Toy Village. So this is last year's version, December 16th, 2022, which I owned one. So I think what happened is the people that owned last year's, look at how great this is, were sent this year's. So again, very similar theme. So that was super cool and in the spirit of giving. Continuing on, Good Night, Yes, No, mech.txt with another cool. You gotta love the music. It's kind of perfect, isn't it? Kind of these early role-playing games. Again, doing the MS-DOS. Nice music. Now, I don't know if the music is original or not, so I'm gonna just quiet it down just for copyright reasons. But look at how cool this is. So, kind of fun and Christmassy too in its own way. A new work by Ed Marola. This is pretty cool. Vanity, Pixel 2023 Dream. And I thought this was just classic Ed Marola in the sense that you have this beautiful sky. Like, it's little experimentation, and Ed's so prolific that you start getting little things that come together, almost like that painting that I had done really fast. You start getting accidental things that you aren't even thinking of. And I'd argue, you know, probably Ed was working quickly, just filling in the sky here. And then all of a sudden you start getting these super interesting textures. Let's see if, okay, so pretty small work too, interesting in itself. And then look at the great neck on this thing. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Like, you know, really nicely done. Almost like the genie in the lamp, right? And so, you know, in Aladdin's lamp there. So a bit of almost a Aladdin theme here. Very, very cool. I love how small it is too. Great kind of yellow background here. Almost like paper there. Gorgeous work from Ed Marola. And continuing on, another Christmas work from John Skellis, December 20th, 2023, decorating the pole, bringing back the Tez pole. And here, it's almost like the skeleton and the ghost of Halloween, Black Cat, are now decorating the pole, which is kind of a brilliant idea. Like, this is what Tezos should do in their main office, if they have one. They may not. I don't know. Isn't it in Switzerland or something? I'm not sure. And I love the snow in the background and the lights and everything. So just a fun holiday work. Selling for 125 Tezos on secondary, edition at 25. Nice work. Zora Desktop Help. So here is a new one from, we'll get some volume here just in case, from Kurt Hustle Collector. Hi, I'm Zora. Let me help you discover. So this is awesome. And discover the World Wide Web. And so your helper is called Zora Desktop Help. So 37 minted. Nice work from Kurt Hustle Collective on Zora. And here's another one, Christmas one. Merry Kurtmas, of course, the Kurt Hustle Collective, KHC. See you next year. Stay good. So a nice postcard here from the Kurt Hustle Collective and Terry Visual and JNK here, wishing everybody the best. And so this is super cool. Available for only $1, edition of 97. RJ just posting this on Twitter, another super interesting work, especially here with kind of the ambiguity in the curtain in the black here. The black, seemingly a black curtain that kind of just blends with the outdoors perhaps here. And a woman sitting on a bench, maybe in a waiting room or something, looking down. Just a really nice piece here. Shadows, good title. And there's the shadow. Interesting work. Nicely done shadows here in the benches too. Just really powerful work. As usual, from RJ. Gloomtube, this is funny. Christmas time at, well, kind of funny. Not really, though. Christmas time at the cemetery, and there's Gloomtube guy in the rearview mirror here, if you can see that, with a little bit of an unhappy face as the figure looks up on the cemetery, these tombstones covered in snow, and there's a big here, as I missed that before, in the reflection of the window, driving by. A big head here with kind of an unhappy face. Powerful, interesting work. I love the perspective of taking the car. Like, this is very, real world. Like, I feel like a lot of people can identify the view of the person here looking over outside from the view of the car over at, like, I feel like I'm there. Really powerful work. Edition of 12, already 75 Tezos on secondary. I thought this was hilarious. Sold for 8 Tezos 88. The House of Goldminovich Christmas Cracker. This is Wasteman Goldminovich opening I think you call these Christmas crackers, and there is a cigarette butt and a little Merry Christmas card from Wasteman Goldminovich, or the Pepe. And look, I love this Goldminovich on the cracker. Really nicely painted, I might add, and that red is quite powerful. Like, it's a beautiful work. Nice piece for $8.88 for a 1 of 1. And this kind of reminded me of the Gloomtube work, if you remember, from Thanksgiving. So here's Christmas turkey, and of course, just taken out of some pre-made, store-bought, out of a can, a turkey out of a can and a beer, and one person, maybe suggesting the person is alone, celebrating Christmas alone, which actually happens to a lot of people. Beautiful textures here in this tablecloth too, and just in the painting in general. Another beautiful work here. Only 3 Tezos, edition of 9. There are 8 left. Santa's watching TV. Thomas Oven Tez. So only bad news on TV. It's kind of true. There's a weird phenomenon I find that often there's terrible news at Christmas. Like, you'll get some war or something. So I'm kind of psychologically prepared for that. Hopefully nothing more happens. But I thought this was a great work. I found this by just clicking on, I think, like, what is it? A Christmas hashtag here. And I was just looking through works, and I was like, oh, here's an artist I've never seen before. Santa's watching TV. Cool work. Great idea. Aquila Nina, the Vanguard, and of course, the Three Graces. I thought this was a really nice piece from that Vanguard series. Now, this is oil acrylic and Photoshop. And again, I can't show all the works, but just sort of here and there. And check out the whole thing on Object. It's on Object, you'll find this. If you go to Nina's page, you'll find this, and then you can click on here, the Vanguard, or on here and get that whole series. Anyways, a really interesting take on the Three Graces. A classic kind of ancient Greek theme, and of course, done by Raphael famously. I did a screen memory celebrating the Raphael. Maybe you've seen that. So I'll just say cool work from Aquila Nina. Gozo, Between You and Me. This is a 1 of 1, and this did really well. Or just transferred to Bijou, so probably a commission, who I think is Eli Trader, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if we can get it to play. And we got it to play, and it is playing. Okay, awesome. So nice piece here by Gozo, who also makes those really cool stable diffusion textured works. Nice colors, nice just kind of, very surreal series here. The way, to me, it feels almost like classically surreal in these just kind of simple geometric shapes and everything. Let's keep going here. Pamela Cerrone, Neutro Arts. So Now, Neutral Art Fair Collective Drop, I thought this was on Zora. Maybe it's on both. And we'll come back to Pamelo Chirone in a second here. So check this out here. I'm glad I came across this. Neutro's Art Fair Collective Drop. So celebrate with us and leave 2023 behind on a high note. So check this out on Object. This could be multi-chain, you know. I'm not sure if, I thought maybe it was on Zora too. And so, yeah, these are new works. So interesting here from Neutro Art Fair Collective. Let's go back to Pamelo Chirone. Jerry Los Pulmones, and I love this because it's another music work by Pamelo Chirone. And to me, this is a static work, and I think this shows that Pamelo's work holds up very nicely as static. It's not just the movement that makes it good. Like, to me, this is a really nice piece, and it really holds up here. Reggae band, Jerry y Los Pulmones. And again, if you want to hear a Twitter space with Pamelo, just check out. Actually, I probably haven't uploaded that yet. I'm going to do that over the holidays. I'm going to update all the Spotify podcasts there for you. I think all the way back to Lorna Mills. So probably like 8 or so podcasts should come up in the next few days here. Guillaume Cornet, cool artist, Xmas Logs, Happy Tez Holidays. So just a cool illustrator on Tezos here. And a nice piece, isn't it? It would make a nice card here. Just kind of innocent and fun and even just everything. Almost got a Babar feel to that elephant there. Edition of 20 for 10 Tezos each on, well, now 10 Tezos on secondary. Let's just see what it's sold for on primary, just out of curiosity. Only a Tezos. So in the spirit of giving there. And here's another one, Festive Traffic. This looks like it was burned, 0 of 0. And here you have Santa Claus in a huge Tez sleigh of sorts and in traffic. I love it. So just brilliant. Let's see if this was ever reminted. It was just a 1 of 1. See, it's fun if, like, you know, let's say that was an edition of 10. You know, Haiti Rocket does this. It's kind of like the inverse of what I was doing, you know, playing off of what RJ was doing. Let's say you put a 1 of 1 out, doesn't sell. You can burn that and then maybe turn that into edition of 5 or 10, put it for a lower price point, divide it by, you know, your original price point if you want. Or if you put out an edition of 10 and nobody's buying it, you can always do the reverse and just say, you know what, I'm burning 9. This is now a 1 of 1, right? And so let's just see if this sold. Yeah, put an auction on it, and all of a sudden it's 25 Tezos. So nice work. And I don't know what happened or the reason behind burning the original. Festive Traffic, very cool. Leprochant, Bullish Head at Christmas. Name Pierre LeFou, age 33, investment type Tezos NFTs. And so here is another kind of radical Santa Claus here. This done by in a style of Leprochant here. Interesting digital wizardry here at auction for 15 Tezos. And let's just see, sold for 15 Tezos. Nice work. A 1 of 1. I thought this was great. Ex-Mortal trashed. And of course, a few people were posting. There was a trash festival yesterday on the solstice, December 21st. Of course, today is the first full day of winter on the December 22nd here. And here, so I loved how, now, what was the name of that, like, is this the name of that, there's a skateboarding magazine. I thought this was actually it, but maybe it was named something different. But all to say it's in that font and it's called Trash here. Here's another one, F1 Trash Racer, and it's a big garbage truck, hilariously, from Ex-Mortal here. Nice piece. Edition of 20 for 5 Tezos and 5 left at F1 Trash Racer. Cool concept with the whole trash art scene there, and cool as ever. I think Sabato put one out too, or maybe relisted one. Klaus with another super cool abstract here, Composition 12. I think these are stunning, these animated abstracts by Klaus here. Let's just see what happened. 12 Tezos selling within a minute. So market's liking that. Acid Boy, finally seamless loop. Yeah, I imagine Acid Boy makes this all look very easy. So here, managing to get a seamless loop here of this wonderful, you know, psychedelic animated abstract work here. And so we'll see if it's minted anywhere. I think that's just a work in progress, or a work that was maybe just finished but not posted yet. Jada Crystal number 22, 1 of 1 on Object. So pretty nice here too. Just these almost like seashell colors, right? There's almost kind of like that pearly underwater Very interesting color scheme, as a matter of fact, from my perspective over here. Crystal number 22. So cool work here on object. Let's just quickly see if the internet is working. 1 of 1 for 25 Tezos. There we go. Kind of a higher res version here. That's better. Look at that. So nice. Again, feeling like a bit of a underwater seashell influence here. Iridescent, exactly. Continuing on, Louis, so with a bit of a Christmas theme here, the greatest gift. Collect everything in your head and put it in a box. So taking all the presents at Christmas and turning it into one and putting it all into a box, and before you know it, you have an abstract artwork here. Edition of 100 for 2 Tezos, and there are 43 left, so selling nicely there. Very cool. And here we have a Santa animatronic with love gifts, and this is Ivan Hugo, and a interesting GLB here with Santa with what look like batteries there and a Santa robot. And so this is 4 Tezos 20 cents, edition of 79. I own one. I didn't even realize. Thank you, Ivan. Merry Christmas. Karika 3D, another Santa Claus done GLB style. So hilarious, right? And of course, these you can zoom in on. What does that say? Something Koresh, maybe NFT? Kareka NFT, and here Kareka 3D. So cool work here, cool Santa. And of course, when you do full screen, it goes dark in the background there. So very cool work. A 1 of 1 for only 10 Tezos if you're looking for a special Christmas NFT. Anna Dart. I'm not sure if this is new or not, but I sure love this series where she was putting paint strokes. This is an AI art series, of course, I believe. Anna Dart here, and this series was just awesome. And so I'm not sure if it's a new one or maybe a repost of an old one, but just really cool with these brush strokes on top. Again, AI artwork. Tukes with a couple of new ones here. Bloomsbury Bouquet with the NFT Factory. I don't think I might have shown these on the Twitter, but here it is on Object, edition of 10. Maybe I already did show this one, actually. I'm not sure. But nice subtle works here by Tukes. All the days blend into each other at this... Oh, big show note, by the way. And I'll repeat that hopefully at the end. I'm going to take off Christmas and the 26th, so the next show will be Wednesday when Runetoon will be the special guest on the Twitter Spaces, on X Spaces. I'm calling it the Runetoon and Friends Holiday Special. So come in and join and just hang out if you like, FYI. So Bell's Palette, also Tukes with NFT Factory here, edition of 100 for 10 Tezos each. Really nice pieces here. Danielle King posted this, minted these 2 stunning pieces from Disdam NFT, Deterministic Non-Periodic Flow, latest project on M-Props. Yeah, and I thought this was pretty cool too. I mean, again, I can't wait to actually try out M-Props. The way they get texture is pretty amazing. And, you know, it has its own quality. You know, if you compare it to Stable Diffusion has its own qualities, right? Which we see with Scamra and Gozo. So here, M-Props, we just see more of what M-Props can do. Nice pieces. And here is Scamra. And of course, this is Stable Diffusion with textual inverters, I think Scamra calls them. Great color on this one. And a few hands here, AI distortions, as I like to call them. Very nice piece there. And Little Cakes, not surprised, throwaway dolls for Tez Trash. So this was also part of Tez Trash, open edition. I thought this is a really nice piece and kind of freaky here. From Little Cakes and an AI artwork for Trash, only a Tezos each, 24 minted so far. And here's No Hygiene on Zora, was just kind of an edgy looking work here. This is 0.01 ETH and maybe 1 edition. So I think maybe you buy it and maybe it's $20 and you get it. And here, did I make it big? No, I didn't. So there's no maximize on Zora. That would be a nice feature on Zora, wouldn't it? Continuing on, Christmas cookies. This I also just found in the hashtags there, and I thought it was kind of cute. MA Art, so an artist I haven't seen before. This is a penny. So cool AI art from MA Art, and I thought it was just a really nicely done kind of Christmas scene. And you see how, you know, advertising, how AI is going to play a bigger and bigger role in, you know, like imagine again the studio, the photographers, the props people that you'd have to hire in order to get this scene here. It was all probably just done in AI really probably pretty quickly. Christmas Cookies 1, here's Christmas Cookies 2. Again, AI art, just making it look easy. Really nice pieces, warm, capturing that Christmas vibe. Merry Christmas. Bullish on Christmas. This is from Uzupi's and Gift Gallery. Let's hope for the best, indeed. Let's hope, let's be optimistic here into this season as the money is being burnt in the fireplace here and the stockings made of cash, kind of a black and white, maybe a commentary on the whole materialism of Christmas and the money under the tree and everything. So just a commentary on Christmas's materialism, seemingly, and the flames going outside of the fireplace there. I mean, a great Christmas read, by the way, is Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. It's not very long. If you started today, you'd probably finish it, by Christmas Eve there. Bullish on Christmas. Cool work. Check these out. Another Instagram discovery here, Louis Rossignol. At least for me, 3,145 people have liked this, so not exactly a new discovery for the rest of the world. I am just so impressed by what I continue to see here. And this looks like a play on Amazing Spider-Man. Is that number 10 or number 4? Number 3? Let's look with Amazing Spider-Man I think it's number 3. Of course, they show Steve Ditko is the artist and Stan the Man Lee. Yeah, okay. So it seems to be a play on this cover here, this famous cover of, you see all the glory. It's the Christmas episode. This is perfect. That's when I break out the comics. I have the German version of this, I think, which are much cheaper and good for my German. So it feels like that, doesn't it? A really nice piece here. Kind of feels like a touch of, who's the guy that collaborated with Hunter Thompson on Fear and Loathing and who minted on Tezos, that artist whose name is escaping me right now. It's got a touch of that, maybe even a tiny touch of Basquiat, but not too much. And I think just a really nice kind of cartoonish, no, cartoonish isn't the right word. Like, look at how great this is. Remember I was discussing in the painting that I made fast, painting over the signature that I screwed up the first time and then it left that thing behind. This is what I see here. It's just like, oh, I didn't like that, I painted over. It's like Warhol has this thing, leave the mistakes, celebrate the errors, and that's how you get all this beauty here and all this texture and everything. And even this great Ralph Steadman. It's got a bit of a Ralph Steadman vibe, doesn't it? And here's another one, Super Mario. Really just hitting the right notes here. Reminds me of the nostalgia, like these are kind of works that I would celebrate in my nostalgia studies works. So I'm really like, I'm kind of all over what Louis Rossignol is doing, as a lot of people are here at 1,865 likes. Very impressive. And let's just make sure we are seeing the whole thing there. It's me, Mario, and here, and this is probably done from memory. And there's also video in this feed here. It's worth looking at, out of Maine, so American. There's a video where you see Louis working, and it's actually really impressive. It's kind of inspiring, too, if because all of a sudden you go, oh, okay. You see the method behind the madness. Maggie Margaret Coles, I think we were looking at another gorgeous work by Maggie yesterday with food on a table. Like, look at how good this looks. This composition, this colored pencil and oil pastel on paper. I'm seeing just I felt like there's a 20-year drought where I didn't see almost anything that I was really excited about. And I feel like in the last 6 months, even 3 months on Instagram, I just feel like there is so much good physical art coming out all of a sudden. It's booming. Here's another one by Enrique Hermes. Maybe that's the name of the work or of the artist. The artist that goes under Bondoso Bandido. And I thought just another, you see the technique here, the airbrush subject, and then this strong kind of solidly painted, maybe it's acrylic or oil, not sure, background. And just another beautiful, fun, cool work. This is my friend Ben out of Berlin. He posted this, and I thought this was hilarious, playing off of, it's not easy to do Warhol's Marilyn and it not look a little, for lack of a better term, trite, right? But I think Ben actually pulled it off here. These are being shown at Saturday at Oyun Berlin. Maybe I should message Ben and just see about that. Maybe I'll go to that. That sounds really fun. Saturday. Maybe that's where I'll go tomorrow for anybody in the city. That looks like the Mona Lisa bit. Aren't these great? Don't know what's going on here. Jusqu'ici tout va bien. He likes memes a lot. and not sure what's going on there. And there is the King Crimson cover. And of course, I remember him doing this work as well, playing off of Lego. So just a really cool artist here. And of course, he loves the memes. Really funny, great guy. Bobby C. Mattia, the Necromancer. So another one here from this artist we've been looking at. And, we see Skeletor in a lot of art. It's not surprising to me that we see Skeletor here. Like this guy, this artist here would fit really well on Tezos, don't you think? And here, maybe you can see Santa Claus back there, Art Lobster. And here, another Christmas work here in the physicals here. And look at how great this is. Repeated here. Almost taking the lessons of Warhol here, but doing it their own way. Brilliant. I just love so much of what I'm seeing right now. Mike OK, I think, is the account here. And it's being posted by Art Lobster. So much great work here. It's hard to it's amazing. It's hard to believe is what I'm trying to say here. And so with that, there we go. With that, my friends, I hope you have a Merry Christmas, a wonderful New Year, and until after the holidays, I'll see you on Thursday for this show. But until the Twitter Spaces, Runetoon and Friends is Wednesday, so come join us. Bring a little Christmas cocktail, Christmas coffee, whatever you drink, Christmas tea, and hopefully I see you there. Until next time, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and take care.